Welcome to Dad Perfect, a podcast for busy dads and our favorite heroes, the wives who stand with them. Dads who understand that investing in your family is the greatest investment you can ever make. Dads who are ready to dig deep and become the perfect dad for your family. To become Dad Perfect. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Perfect podcast. I am David Rasmussen, your host. This is episode 4. Where we will be introducing the principle Be Intentional, which is the second of our 9 core principles of perfectly devoted dads. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome especially to all of you who are listening for the first time. And as always, we want to extend a welcome to the wives who are joining us. As fathers, we all know that we are nothing without you. You are our heroes. Today we will be introducing the principle Be Intentional. This is the second principle under our core of Fatherhood Focus. As a reminder, Fatherhood Focus contains the 3 principles that help us to improve ourselves as individuals, as fathers. The other 2 principles are Know Your Reflection and Forgive Freely. We've already introduced Know Your Reflection in the previous episode, but just as a quick review, there are 3 specific ways that we can use reflection to become better fathers. First, we have moments of reflection in our lives that lead to understanding and change. Second, we can see the reflection of ourselves in our children and use that reflection to know where we are at, what we need to do, and what the next steps need to be, how to make the changes. And third, we discover in ourselves the reflection of our own fathers, mothers, and everyone who has gone before us. If you haven't had a chance to listen to episode 3 yet, that's okay. Keep listening today and you can go back and listen to episode 3 later. Now, principle number 2. Be intentional. Life and fatherhood don't simply just happen to us. As individuals and as fathers, we are making decisions constantly. And these decisions continually impact ourselves and our relationships in our family. When we understand that choice gives us power, not power over others, but power for us to be ourselves, our best selves. The best self that is great and helps our families to be their greatest as well. When we understand and we believe this, then choice is power. We gain control over our lives and who we are and become as fathers. There are 3 key elements to being intentional as we work to become the perfect dads for our families. These elements center around our choices, the choices we make each day and each moment of our lives. First, our decisions shape who we are, who we become. Our choices shape our lives. It is crucial that we know who we are, who we want to be, and why. We must have a plan with clear objectives and built on core values. This builds on principle number 1, Know Your Reflection. But once we have a clear reflection in mind of the kind of father we want to become, we still need to make the right decisions that will get us there. Second, our choices frame how we view the world around us. The way we choose to view and receive the actions of others impacts our relationship with them and our ability to develop and maintain deep and connected relationships. Third, we have to have the courage to act. Our choices only have power when we turn them into reality. We can choose to do many things and be many things, but until we give those choices life by acting, they are simply wishes and desires. So first, let's dig deeper into the element of be intentional. The first element of be intentional, which is our decisions shape who we will become. So Stephen Covey, who you probably know as the author of the best-selling book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said this, quote, "We are the creative force of our life, and through our own decisions rather than our conditions, if we carefully learn to do certain things, we can accomplish our goals." End quote. Living life intentionally means we choose to take control of who we are, where we are going, and how we get there. The circumstances around us will be what they are going to be. We have very little control over what happens around us or what happens to us, but we have full control over how we choose to act and feel in every single circumstance. I'd like to share a personal example, if I may. I was raised in a home where we were taught to speak with kindness and respect with each other. We didn't use, or we tried not to use crass and vulgar or profane words in our home. And it was just the way it was when I was a child. And I thought this was normal. Didn't everybody speak this way. That's what I thought. As I got older and started noticing the profanity and language used at school, on TV, and in many other places, I realized that the language we used in our home was different. And this difference sometimes led me to getting teased and taunted by others and even by my friends at times. So as I grew older, I had a decision to make. Should I change the way I speak and the words I use in order to fit in better with my friends? Or should I keep using the words I was raised to use and continue to suffer the consequences, if you will? I remember specifically deciding that I like the way I feel when I use respectful and clean language. So I made my choice. I committed to myself that I would not use curse words. So now, here I am, almost 50 years old, and I am happy to say that I can truthfully say that I have kept that commitment. And this decision has shaped a part of who I am, and who I have become, and who my family has become. In our home now, we use clean and uplifting language. And in addition to using this language, we've made a conscious decision, my wife and I, to use language in our home that edifies, that empowers, and lifts each other up. And we did this because we want our home to be a place of encouragement, a place of love, a place of safety. No one is put down in our home, not even sarcastically. The choices that we make shape the type of father we will become, and by extension, the family environment that we create. These choices can be small, like I had no idea that my choice on the language I used would impact my future family the way that it has, or they can be big choices, like the religion that you choose to join, or even where you live and the people that you associate with. But regardless of the magnitude of the choice, every choice has an impact on our families. It is critical that we learn to make good choices, always keeping our families in mind and how they will be impacted by the choices that we make. Will our choices help create the family we want, help build the relationships that we want, create the home that we want? There's a poem that I like written by Edgar A. Guest, who is referred to as the people's poet, and it goes like this. You are the person who has to decide whether you'll do it or toss it aside. You are the person who makes up your mind whether you'll lead or will linger behind, whether you'll try for the goal that's afar or just be contented to stay where you are. The second element of Be Intentional is living intentionally shapes how we understand the world around us. While I was getting my family science degree in college, I studied a behavioral theory that emphasized the power of choice and intentionality in our lives. And one of the primary principles of the theory was that our choices shape not only what happens in our lives, but also how we perceive the world around us. And this concept really resonated with me because we are often taught that we have no control over what others do to us, which is true, but that shouldn't be the end of that principle. I think it should go more like this. We have no control over what others do to us, but we have complete control over how we choose to receive their actions. Far too often we overconcern ourselves with the why behind others' actions, with their motivation. We obsess with understanding why they said what they said or did what they did. For example, if someone you love, could be a spouse, a parent, or a child, makes a hurtful comment, you naturally try to make sense of their motivation, the why behind their comment. We do this because their words don't match our understanding of the relationship we have with them. Basically, we're asking ourselves, why would someone who loves me say something like that? And then we try to find a reason why. We try to make it make sense. It's human nature to seek understanding and make sense of situations like this example, but it can be very dangerous as well. Unfortunately, we too often begin to assign reasons for the words or behaviors that aren't based in reality. A simple example following on the previous example could go something like this. My wife said something to me that hurt. People who love each other don't hurt each other. Therefore, my wife must not love me. This is a simple example, but we all jump to conclusions like this in all of our relationships, and unfortunately, especially in our families. The key is learning how to choose or frame our perception of the hurtful action. Imagine the difference in a relationship if the reasoning went something more like this. My wife said something to me that hurt. I know my wife loves me and wouldn't intentionally hurt me. I wonder if there is something difficult going on in her life that I can help with. Did you catch the difference? In the first example, the husband introduces division into the relationship by choosing to believe that his wife does not love him. On the contrary, in the second example, the husband chooses to believe that his wife loves him first, leading him to feel sympathy for her and a desire to serve and help her. What a difference that makes in a relationship, all from how the husband chooses to respond to the action. Viktor Frankl was a Jewish psychiatrist who lived in Austria during the Nazi invasion. 9 months after his marriage, Frankl and his family were sent to a Nazi concentration camp, and he spent 3 years in 4 different concentration camps, including Auschwitz. And while in these camps, he witnessed his father's death by starvation and pneumonia. His mother and brother were murdered in the gas chambers, and his wife died of typhus. After his release, he wrote an autobiographical account of his experiences in the concentration camps, and he titled it Man's Search for Meaning. And this book eventually became an international bestseller, and in 1991 was named one of the 10 most influential books in the United States. One of the conclusions that Viktor Frankl reaches while suffering in the Nazi camps that he shares in his book is this: everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Third, have the courage to act. Our choices only have power when we turn them into reality. We can choose to do many things and be many things, but until we give those choices life by acting, they are simply wishes and desires. Referring back to my personal example of choosing not to curse, obviously that choice would have meant nothing and had zero impact on my life if I hadn't acted on my choice. Amelia Earhart said, quote, "The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity. The fears are paper tigers. You can do anything you decide to do. You can act to change and control your life. And the process is its own reward." End quote. We are all at different stages of being a father. Some of us are well into it. Others may be just getting started. And still others may be looking forward to the day when you can be a father. Regardless of where you are as a father right now, you have the power to choose, to change, and to become. You have the choice. Please don't ever believe that the choices you make now don't matter. Every choice you make is powerful. Choose now to be the father you want to be. Make some time for yourself and write down the type of father you want to be. Take out a piece of paper, write it in a journal, take a note on your phone, whatever works for you, and write these questions. These are just 5 sample questions. You can write your own questions, but it's just questions to get you thinking. So you can start with these if you would like. Number 1, what personal values are important to me that I want to pass on to my children? Number 2, what did my father teach me that I want to teach my children? Number 3, what feelings do I want in my home? Or maybe another way to phrase that is, what culture do I want in my home? Number 4, how do I want to feel toward my wife and toward my children? And number 5, how do I want my children to feel toward me? Now write down your answers. Write down whatever comes to your mind. There are so many things that could come to your mind. Just write them all down. It's like brainstorming. Don't overthink it. Just write it down. And there are so many more questions that you could ask to help you know what type of father you want to be. Like I said before, come up with your own if you need to. Only you know your situation, your family, and your history, and your vision for becoming dad perfect, the perfect dad for your family. Once you have these written down, then act. Do it. Choose one thing. You can't do them all right at the start. You'll get overwhelmed, but choose one thing from your list and do it. And become the father that you are. And the moment you make a choice and have the courage to act on that choice, your life changes. So in summary, 1, your decisions now will shape who you become as a father, regardless of what stage of being a father you are in. Number 2, you have the power to choose how you will respond to the circumstances around you. As you define the father you want to be, remember, there will be many external situations and influences that can knock you off course. Your choices as to how you understand them will be a powerful tool to keeping you on the right course. And number 3, choose to have courage to act. Act on your choices. Make them real. Bring them to life. Stick to your plan and core values and choose to leave behind those behaviors, habits, and decisions that are counter to your plan and core values. You can do this. I know you can. Don't give in to the doubt or the discouragement. You won't be perfect. Nobody is. But the key is don't give up. I am very excited to share these principles with you. Each day, I strive to implement them in my life. They are a part of me and my efforts to be the best dad that I can be for my family. And I know that they work. Thank you for listening today. If you want more, you can get it. More resources, more stories, more tips and strategies, more access to experts, more dads and moms sharing their own experiences, more support and encouragement, and much more. Simply go to dadperfect.com and sign up. Thank you again for listening. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. Until next time, remember, you are the perfect dad for your family. You are Dad Perfect. This has been the Dad Perfect podcast. Thank you for listening. If you want more, you can get it. More resources, more tips and strategies, more dads and moms sharing experiences, and much more. Simply go to dadperfect.com and sign up. That's dadperfect.com to sign up for more. Until next time, remember, you are the perfect dad for your family. You are Dad Perfect.